Are you an African working or living in an urban city? So if you're like me, you're probably mobile farming, or what we like to call telephone farming. This is where you have land in the rural areas, and you have either a worker or someone who's managing the farm for you. How is that going for you? Are you making money out of it? Or are you left just wondering if your workers are stealing from you? If you're sending money to your parents or siblings to help you manage the farm, are you getting a good return on your investment? Are you happy with the money that you have put in? Do you ever get to see your harvest? Or your family just eats what you have harvested and keeps asking for more money to farm? If you're like most of us, it's pathetic. If it's not workers stealing from you, God forbid you dare ask your parents for the expenses or a list of expenses that for the money you spent, especially when it comes to parents and siblings. How much money have you gotten from your harvest, if you even had an harvest? And if you did have a harvest, what was the sales like? How did your product do in the urban cities? What about if you're just a farmer who works on the farm daily? Have your farming activities made you extremely wealthy? Have the market prices affected your profitability? When you look at how much time you spent on the farm and the money you've put into farming, can you really say that farming is profitable for you? Governments and donors have been looking to do a lot in terms of production, and they've left and they've spent quite a bit of money in trying to get the African smallholder farmers to do well. If you're one of those who've benefited, have you really been left wealthier than when they came in? Do you even know the prices of your products in the urban cities? Do you know who you are supposed to sell to if you're even a farmer? Agriculture is so simple. We all know how to plant a seed in the soil, to water it, and then we expect it to produce. What's even worse, us Africans who are so educated do not just seem to be able to get this farming thing right. Without a doubt, you are stuck and frustrated about farming, and even more frustrated about using your land to earn you more money for yourself without ever having to beg from anyone, or even to pay for what is rightfully yours, or to just people who will just be able to do the job and get you what you deserve. Do you even know what crops work in your area? Do you know what the market dynamics are? Hi, my name is Fostina, Fostina. My last name is Mani as in cash, but spelled Mani. Fostina Mani. I work with farmers, traders, and women in agribusiness and youthful professionals who want to earn more money for themselves through a credible and reputed global trade engagement partner who fully understands and serves the African market. I remember some years ago, I believed that the only way we could transform Africa's agriculture and enable Africans, especially the smallholder farmers, traders, and especially women and youth, to earn more money for themselves was only by donor funding. Like you, I was frustrated by why something so simple as planting a seed in soil and watering it and just letting it grow can be such a problem in Africa, despite the level of academic intelligence we have and human intelligence that we have, not to even mention the money Africa has spent in agriculture. Every day I would ask myself, why are Africa's agricultural market not favorable for the Africans themselves? Agribusiness is so simple, but it just does not seem to be working in Africa, especially for the African farmers, traders, women, and youth. Why am I getting... I also kept on wondering, why do we keep getting funded and the projects don't seem to just be able to to produce the effect. If you look at how much money has been spent in terms of dollars, we should really be having a lot of African millionaire farmers. Having been both in the development world and also as private sector, I kept on asking myself, why is there such a disconnect between what is actually being implemented versus what is actually happening on the ground? I'm not saying people are not doing their work, but when you look at the money that has been spent on a project, it's just not adding up. Even the people, the staff themselves, the people implementing agricultural development projects are very frustrated. So clearly, without any question, there's a disconnect. Something is just not seeming to be working right. I kept on asking myself, is this always going to be like this? When will markets stop being unfavorable for African farmers, traders, women, and professionals? I get a lot of calls about frustrated farmers. I want to work with them, but the market dynamics do not seem to really add up very well. Either they don't have the skills to be able to do what I need to get done. Secondly, lack of financing is always also a problem in terms of what will happen, how will we get a bank guaranteed mechanism. Usually when I'm working with them, I find that they are not aware about some of the banking products. The other thing is, I hate to say, but also our African farmers have learned how to speak NGO. They know how to talk to donors, and they know how to talk to the rest of us. Corruption is another thing that we grapple with. As Africans, we are not people of integrity, and I hate to say this. It's there. It's a fact. There's lack of integrity even from government officials who are meant to even serve the people. The number of conmen and fraudsters in my sector, especially the agricultural dry grain commodities, is just shocking. The most annoying part of it is that everything that is being implemented does not does not really add up. In fact, let me just explain to you. There's a very big disconnect between the private sector and the development projects. By this, I mean my clients, I serve the bottom of middle to lower income, the bottom of the pyramid. I sell open sack grain cereals, and my target is to really just provide affordable food. We pride ourselves in being able to free feed Africans on $1, less than $1 a day, where they're able to get dry beans, they can get a rice, they can get breakfast porridge, and even have some change left to be able to buy tomatoes and onions if need be. So we sell fair price. We try to, our motto is everyday low prices. So having been both in the development world and in the private sector, you can tell there's a very big disconnect, and the people implementing the projects are speaking on behalf of the people at the bottom of the pyramid, but hardly ever will you find that the people at the bottom of the pyramid, especially the traders, being able to represent themselves. Donor funding and development programs also are doing much to solve agribusiness problems in Africa, but even they are frustrated. They keep asking, don't just tell us how many farmers you're training. We want to see how many, what was the change in the level of income for farmers. It's obvious the small and medium entrepreneurs, who are often referred to as informal sector or Jokali, are major contributors of the GDPs for many African countries. Yet these small and medium or micro entrepreneurs are hardly ever invited to the table to raise their issues. Usually you will find that there's actually someone who's never done business representing them or speaking on their behalf. And I believe this is one of the reasons why we continue to have that big disconnect. I've had the privilege of sitting both at the development side and as a private business, and I will tell you, the disconnect between the two is just phenomenal. And after a while, I was very uncomfortable with this. I kept on asking, okay, we're implementing this, but on the ground, it's not working. And I remember, I think for me, when I worked with the private sector, when I worked with companies, they kept on telling me I was too development minded. And when I worked with the development world, they kept on telling me I was too private sector. So for a while, it bothered me until one day I finally realized, actually, this is my sweet spot. I'm able to understand what the development partners are doing, but as a private sector, also be able to implement and just come back and tell them, hey, this is not working. The other thing, I don't know if you've noticed of late, everybody's talking about access to finance for women, but the truth is, when you really go to the banks to try and get access some of that finance, you find that there's a lot of bureaucratic procedures and regulations. To just be very honest, it's not what it's seeming to be. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if it's a PR exercise. And but anyway, we're going to be talking about this some more. I recently actually came into the realization that donor funding is not the only way Africa will be able to implement the projects that they need to. Africa needs to rise up and implement projects for themselves. And I don't know if you had, when you're borrowing money from someone, there's a verse in the Bible that says, the borrower is a slave to the lender. Whoever has the money has the power to call the shots. And so what the Bible says, that money answereth all things, it's sort of true, because when you have money, you're able to do a lot. I'm not saying to love money, but the fact is, if you have money, you're able to answer some of your needs. So like I explained, for the longest time I was in the development world, and then I left and I went into the private sector, and the benefit has been tremendously for me, because I got to learn a lot, and then I also got to learn that you don't have to be in either camp. You can actually blend the two and be able to bring a difference. And so sometimes I find myself, even when I'm in the development conferences, when I've invited, I'm usually speaking a different language. And this actually helped me to go out on a journey of self-discovery, when I actually wanted to find out, Lord, how long is Africa going to keep looking to the donor world, or the development agencies, or to other countries to be able to help itself? Actually, one of the things that really transformed my thinking was the story of Joseph in the Bible. I don't know if you know this, but there's a time Africa actually fed the whole world. And so this set me on a journey, and into a self-discovery journey, into just some deep thinking mission on how I would be able to change and bring about transformation from what I've actually gathered from both the development world and the private sector. So one of the things that has been most transformational for me is to just sit back and say, okay, fine, if money wasn't there, would we be able to? Can Africa transform themselves? One of the things I know about Africans, they're very resilient. I mean, we go through famine, we go through political turmoil, but somehow we always seem to be able to just rise up. And so one day I called myself to a meeting, and I said, well, how can I begin to implement what I see? If I really didn't even, without even any money, how can I really begin to bring a transformation? Because truly my calling, and one thing I believe with all of my heart, is when I die and I stand before God, what he will ask me is, how did I use my skills and talent to transform Africa's agriculture? And so that's what I did. I just called myself to a meeting. I wrote every gift, every talent, every skill, every resource that I have within my hands. And I think I remember one of those times when I was really feeling down and frustrated. I remember I felt the Lord asking me, what do you really have in your hands? And I said, I have a whole lot of knowledge on cereals, the dry agricultural commodity, grains and cereals, because my family has been in the cereal business from 1968. And the second thing I did is I realized that I had IT skills. And I asked myself, how can I blend this two? And so what I did is that I actually created a website. It's called Better Grains, www.betta.grains, grains.com, bettergrains.com. And I decided that I was going to put out the information that I felt was needed the most. And one of the things I noticed is that farmers always did not have access to market prices. So that's what I did. I put that out there. And that's what I did. And this website has been running for a while, and very many interesting things have happened from it, and I will tell you about it. But I want to share something that really helped me take this path on this journey. I don't know if you've ever read the story of the parable of the talents, where the master called the talents and he gives his workers talents, and he told them, if you notice, he told them, go trade, go do business, go multiply your talents. And I believe one was given, it was 5, was it 5? 5 and 2 and 1, I think it was. The one who got 5 went and multiplied and brought 10. The one who had 2 went and multiplied and brought in 4. And then there's one who had 1 who was afraid, and he didn't know what his master's expectation was, but fear allowed him to go ahead and just bury the talent. But I don't know if you notice, a key thing to notice is that the master told them, go trade, go do business, go trade with the talent that we have. When the master came back, the one who had 5 gave what he had, the one who had 2 gave an extra 2, and the one who had 1 said, I was afraid and I hid it. I dug hole and I hid it. And the master was very upset with him. He told him that you need to understand that if you shouldn't have dug it. First of all, fear controlled him, and then he dug it. The second mistake he made is he didn't put it in a bank. This tells you that when we really think about banking and savings, good as they are, that is the lowest form of interest or return that we can actually make from our money. The highest return on investment you can make is when you invest in yourself. When you take what you have, you work it and produce other talents. So on this journey of mine, I actually went and wrote a whole long list of every talent that I had. I think I had so many things like people in church say I can preach, even though I don't like being called a pastor. I put that one. I could sing, I could speak, I have IT skills, I can market, I have media skills, what was the other one? I dance as well, and I can do presentations, even though I'm not particularly fond of standing in front of cameras, but these are some of the things that I can do. And I listed all of them, and I think I had like 32. I also included opportunities that I have. If there's land somewhere that I have, opportunities that had come from the website that I had created, and all these things. So I put all that there, and I don't know if you know this, but the present value of the talent the Bible speaks about is $1,000. In other words, out of all the talents that I had, I should have been comfortably earning $32,000. And so I asked myself, what was wrong with me? Why was I running, looking for people to help me implement what I could have helped? And so I decided to invest myself. I went and developed some of those skills. I went and took some classes. I did a lot of things, and I must say, I'm very happy to share the journey and some of the things that I learned. The first thing that I learned was how to identify what was within my hands and how to monetize it. How can I get it to work with me? That was the second thing. Identifying what I have in my hands. The second thing was, how do I monetize? How do I make money out of it? And I know YouTube and social media, they have a lot of trainings going on in terms of what you can do, and I was watching a lot of those, but one of the things I realized is that they don't tell you everything. You can do this and do that, but if you're careful and if you really observe yourself, you say, yeah, this is a trick that I implement, but sometimes there's so much going on, it's hard to actually be able to bring it together. All right. You've also seen a lot of motivation clips on YouTube, but there's actually a science behind it. You need to be able to bring it together. So the third thing is, what I did is I invested in myself. I actually went and got the training and the support that I needed in order to just get unstuck. And my unsticking process was just realizing that I had the capacity and the capability to do what I needed to do, to stop getting stuck. There's a lot of mind shifts that needed to happen. And finally, I just realized that I don't know. I don't know if you're like me. Do you ever feel like sometimes that you're helping others become rich, and you yourself you're not? It seems like other people determine what you will earn, but never you yourself, because you don't know what your value is. And so one of the things I realized is that I needed to stop blaming others, but taking on my own issues and dealing with them. And it's been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing journey of transformation, and that's why I want the opportunity to be able to also share with you what I've been through, and that's how my life changed for the better. And I have to tell you, I don't see myself going back, because my journey allowed me to think and to be able to envision of the things that I wanted. Speaking of the development world and donor, they're wonderful people. They're people who are really out there to help Africa. But I don't know if you really understand that Africa has never really been able to set the agenda for themselves. The agenda that the ministries of agriculture implement is really never their agenda. It's usually what the foreign governments have decided that want to invest in. So for example, like USID will decide this is the agenda that we want Africa to implement. They always have an agenda, and in that agenda they will always, like, they will give money, they will have staff, they'll have some people working for them who are usually Africans, but usually ultimately the Americans themselves are the ones who are determining the agenda. It's not a bad thing, but again, it is their money, and like I said, whoever has the money calls the shots. Same thing happens to the UK AIDS. Same thing happens to it happens a lot. It's normal. That's what really happens, not just in agriculture, but even in health, in many other things. And one of the things I think for me was, is it, I can't say that I want to transform Africa's agriculture without having to go through the transformation myself. And I think that's what I did. And so I sat down and I said, how can I begin to make a difference? How can I begin to have an impact on my sector? I don't know if any of you have heard about the African Continental Free Trade Area. This is where the African countries are coming together, so Africa will be one very big, large market. And in the formation of this, Africans have been given an opportunity to come up and speak up and say what it is that they want. It's called Agenda2063. Africans have been given an opportunity to be able to come and say, what exactly do you want Africa to look like by the year 2063? And for me, having seen that, having been in the development world, I realized that this was my opportunity to be able to also champion and speak about the Africa that I want. I don't need to be donor funded. I can create my own agenda. I have the techniques, I have the tools, I have the skills to be able to do what I need to get done. After all, even the people who are implementing these skills are just as educated as I am, or even more. I have skills just like they do, but the thing is about, can I do something that I would be able to make a difference? So this is my invitation to you. I want you to come. I want us to work together. I want to teach you how to monetize your skills, and I want you to help. I want you to work with you so that we can create the Africa that we want, where we don't have to beg from anyone. Imagine with me for a moment being able to earn more money for yourself in Africa's agriculture, where Africa can be counted upon to be a continent that has people who are full of integrity, a people who are fulfilled. Can you imagine just being able to do business using what you have without ever having to beg from anyone? If you want to implement a certain agenda, can you do it regardless of if you're funded or not? Africa is now one very large market. Can you imagine yourself doing agribusiness without being defrauded or conned? And the beauty about it is that the world is looking to do business with Africa, because Africa will be the largest market. The question is, are you going to watch others come from outside and make money, or are you going to jump on the ship? Because you don't want to wake up later and realize, hey, people made money in Africa and you are left out. Can you imagine doing business with men and women of integrity who have been vetted and are committed to building long-term business relationship? One of the things as a company we are known for is when you call us, we vet. We unapologetically vet. We want to see your business license. We want to see your KRA pin. Many people get offended, but we don't care. We know the sector is what it is, and so we will not do business with anyone who we cannot vet. If large corporations do it, so can we. We don't use this data. Is just for you to be able to validate who you say you are. If someone is not willing to provide us with that data, too bad. We will not do business with them, because number one, we've been conned before, and number two, many other people have been conned before, and we are not willing to risk our clients, exposing our clients to risk. The third, so for me, this is really, really crucial. Really, it's a key thing. Vetting is really big for me. Can you imagine being able to do business in an African market where there is equal opportunity for all, where you can just do business without having to bribe government officials or politicians, or going to give kickbacks to whoever because you need a government tender? I've seen in the sector, I have seen these things go horribly bad. All right, can you imagine being guided by a recognized sector leader in Africa's agriculture? That's what I want to do. I want to work with you. I want to identify your skills. I want to teach you how to monetize your skills, and then I want to help you be positioned in the African supply chain, so that you know you're being guided by a recognized leader, you're being guided by someone of integrity, and you're going to be guided into monetizing your skills. You will be given opportunities to earn money for yourself. And then the final thing is, the reason why I decided to do this is because I realized, yes, I have put a website there, but what I did is I had opened up I'd opened up the hearts of people where they could actually see that it was very beneficial to do business in Africa. By this I mean, when I started providing markets, people now started calling me, and they realized, oh, we can actually make money out of this. But what they don't understand is the nitty-gritties of the grades and standards. And people started reaching out to me, but even as much as I wanted to do business with them, I realized that they were lacking in a lot of things in terms of trade financing, in terms of risks, agricultural risks. They didn't understand a lot of the technicalities of what it entailed to actually do large volumes trade. And so it got frustrating, even with the development partners, when they invited us to go and be off-takers for the farmers. When you get there, it's not quite organized. The warehouses are empty, and unfortunately the farmers have their crops in their homes, or some of them even under their beds, and they're not willing to release it to anyone. So it's really not smooth as it should be. And because of that, I decided, let me come up with a program where, in addition to identifying people where people would fall on the agricultural supply chain, I would also be able to train them. I will be able to coach them into being the sort of traders that I really need them to be. And then from there, I will be facilitating them to do global trade with reputable businesses that have reached out to us. So that's why this is very crucial. The other thing is, my vision and my legacy. I want to live an Africa that is better even for the future generation. I want to be that global trade engagement partner that is able to advise you, that is able to caution you, that is able to mentor you and teach you on how to access Africa's mass market. In addition to that, for the people that I will be training, I want to set up a private community where we'll be able to support each other, because sometimes even in business, when things get very rough, you need someone to support. I'm looking for people who are like-minded. individuals who will be able to hold you and hold you accountable to business growth, to be able to ask you how much profit are you making, who will give you the guts to be able to say this rural farming business may not be working. I am doing this because I want to create generational wealth. We're second generational traders. Like I said, my father-in-law started the business in 1968. I married into a grain trader, and slowly I became a grain trader. And while I sell grains and I'm very passionate about it, my other skill is in IT, in technology, and my son is in technology. And so I need to be able to set up businesses where even my son may be able to run. So we cannot longer do business the way we did it in 1968. We need to incorporate technology, even with the gig economy coming up, with the future. Everyone is selling online. There's e-commerce. I need to be able to help you to be strategically aligned to be able to do that. I want to think future. I want to think. The Bible says we need to think about generational wealth that is lasting to the third and the fourth generation. But to do this, we need selfless individuals who are committed to building that legacy for their children and their children's children. I'm looking for individuals who are committed to not just enriching themselves, but creating the Africa that we want to see by 2063 through the African Continental Free Trade Area. That is the Africa that I want. That is going to be my legacy. My legacy 2063. By 2063, regardless of whether I'll be alive or dead, I want Africa to know that there is a woman who actually came out and championed other Africans to be able to position themselves into the supply chain and to be able to use their skills to earn more money for themselves without having to beg from anyone. So we need to take advantage of the agricultural opportunities that I don't know if you know this, but they are projecting that agriculture is one of the ways that Africa is able to really become rich. I want you to just take a moment and just think about, what do you want Africa to look like? This is probably 41 years from today. Can you imagine 41 years ago, in the 60s, what did your country look like? What did Africa look like? Africa was colonialized, I think, in the 60s, most of it. Now Africa is free. But my challenge to you is, if Africa does not rise up, we will find ourselves under economic colonialism by 2063, because we did not rise up and monetize on our skills, monetize on our resources. We will still be looking for the West to give us money. I need you to get up. I need you to rise up. I need you to stand up and say, even I must trade in this one very large market. Look at the numbers, they don't lie. The West, the development world, is looking to sell in Africa. China is already selling in Africa. The US is gearing their small businesses to sell in Africa. My question to you is, are you going to come and also sell? Are you going to allow yourself to be possessed? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those companies selling, but if they are looking for reliable partners, can you be strategically positioned to be able to take advantage of the opportunity that will be presented to you? So even as you're selling American goods, you're also able to earn a small profit for yourself. We need to start addressing these questions. Is, must we farm in the village? Must that land be farmed? And if it must be farmed, the crop that we're farming, is it a profitable crop? So those are some of the things I would like us to discuss. So you've heard me talk about the African continent free trade area. I'm sure you've heard of Brexit. You know, when Britain decided to leave the European Union, we have an opportunity where Africa is coming together. Do you know what it is? If you don't know, please take the time to read up upon it and find out how much money is expected to be earned in that. Like I told you, the world knows Africa now is the world's largest market, and everyone is looking to do business with Africa. Will you watch others make money, then wonder what happened? Or will you invest in yourself in order to benefit from this large market? If you feel like I once felt, you are not alone. I want to tell you there is hope. I want to tell you, I see an Africa that is transforming, the amazing stories that are being done, the amazing opportunities, and I'm looking for people that I can train, develop, and then pass these opportunities. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm just one person. I can't trade in all African countries. If you look at the volumes that Africa is trading in, I can't do it. I'm just about one. But what I can do is, I can champion a market revolution that is going to transform Africa's agriculture by, I take someone, I invest in them, I train them, I help them identify their skills, and position them and align them to an opportunity where they can be able to do this. So I will be speaking more, and I look forward to working with you some more. So thank you for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to this exciting journey. So if you need to find out more about me, you can visit my website, Fostina, remember, F-O-S-Tina. Last name is Mani, as in cash, but spelled M-A-N-I. www.fostinamani.com. I would also like you to follow me and subscribe to all the social media platforms that you find me. You find me as Fostina Mani. Thank you for listening to me, and please subscribe.